Hey, what's up everybody? I wanted to dedicate this particular YouTube channel to people who have questions about the bariatric procedure called the vertical sleeve gastrectomy or the vertical gastric sleeve VGS. I am scheduled to have the gastric sleeve on February the 27th, which is about a week away. This is actually the night of February the 19th, and it is the day before I start my 1 week liquid pre-op diet. And so I'll talk more about that in a minute. But I just wanted to make this video, and my hope is that I can continue to update it, not only so that you can see my progress and I can kind of have a way of documenting it, but also because when I started this journey, there were a lot of questions that I had, and I do realize that everybody's experience is unique to them. You know, we all have different insurances. Some people are self-pay. Some people get the procedure done in the country. Some get it done out of the country because it's cheaper and less restrictive. Our bodies respond differently to different things. We all have different health problems. Although I'm pretty sure that there are people who probably have the very same types of circumstances and situations that I do. And you'll find that one thing that I do encourage anyone that is looking to go this path is to research. Get you, go to Google it. There's plenty of YouTube videos. On Facebook, there are some awesome groups devoted to people who have undergone bariatric procedures. Not only there's the bariatric social, which is like a huge network of people, and it's great. I also joined up with Black Girls Get Sleeved too, and the reason I joined with that is because I just kind of noticed from my own experience in people that I know both blacks and whites that have had the procedure done, and it seems like black bodies respond differently than white bodies, or it seems to be different goals with it even. So as far as like, weight loss goals, and as far as, goal weights and things like that, there is a difference there. But everybody's main concern is to be healthy, and so that's the reason I'm doing it. So I just wanted to kind of make this video as an introduction. This is before my pre-op. Right now I'm not comfortable sharing with you exactly how much I weigh. I will tell you that it is close to 300. When I started this whole weight loss journey, I was a lot heavier than I am now even, and sorry about all the noise. Had this little piece of something that was stuck to my door and it was irritating me. Yeah, so let me just tell you some things about what I have done as far as weight loss is concerned. I started this journey probably about, this is 2017, so I'm going to say it was around 2012, so about 5 years ago. It was the heaviest I'd ever been, and I couldn't believe that I was that heavy. And it's funny because I had a friend who had surgery probably about 7 years prior, 6 years prior to that point. And I remember when she said what her highest weight was, and I thought to myself, wow, how can a person like themselves get to that weight? And then before you know it, I turned around and I was at that weight. And there are some factors that went into me gaining weight pretty rapidly. In 2006 or 2007, I was diagnosed with Graves' disease, which is an autoimmune disorder that attacks the thyroid. And it caused me to go into a thyroid storm. And I was told that the thyroid was overactive and it was taxing my heart, and that something had to be done. So my doctor gave me radioactive iodine to kill my thyroid gland, and I have been on synthetic thyroid hormone ever since. That in itself contributed to a huge amount of weight gain. I mean, I gained a lot of weight pretty rapidly without even really eating any more than I had been, or, you know, decreasing my activity level or anything. I also have polycystic ovarian syndrome, which are PCOS, which also it can act as an insulin resistance factor, and so it causes you to gain and retain weight, and it makes it harder to lose weight. So there are two things that I have going against me, not to mention the fact that obesity runs into my family, heavy into my family, brothers and sisters, parents. My mom is currently overweight. My dad had been. He is a 12-year cancer survivor. When he went through the cancer, he did lose a ton of weight, and he has, you know, kept it off, partially because the type of cancer he had, esophageal cancer, they had to remove part of his stomach, very similar to what is done in the gastric procedures. So his stomach is, you know, always going to be smaller than it had been, and so he's not able to eat as much. So that's why he's maintained his weight loss. But I digress back to the whole bariatric thing. So, yeah, like I said, in 2012, I found myself at the heaviest that I've ever been, and I was disgusted with myself. I couldn't believe that I had gotten to that point, and I wanted to do something about it. The insurance that I had at the time, or the insurance that I currently have, actually, I have HAP insurance through my employer, and they paid for me to go through Weight Watchers, and it was like $25 each time. I could go 4 times as a lifetime maximum with the insurance, and they would pay for, I believe it was 12 weeks of Weight Watchers at a time for $25. And Weight Watchers worked okay for me. The accountability piece really, you know, kind of kept me on my P's and Q's as far as doing what I was concerned. But I did find out that the point system was just not for me, because the points system is kind of a slippery slope for someone who was, at that time, I was a full-time student, single mom, and I worked full-time, and so it was like I was always looking for convenience. And Weight Watchers, because they go by the point system, they said, well, there was a booklet that showed you, you know, you can go to McDonald's and have this for this many points, and, you know, like that. The problem with that is that you can end up being within your points and still going way over where you should be as far as carbohydrates are concerned, as far as caloric intake is concerned, and things like that. For instance, one beer, I think there's a particular brand of beer that was like 1 point. So a person might think, well, I can drink, you know, 6 of them and I'll be fine because I'm still within my point total. But the problem is how many empty calories did you take in? How many carbs did you take in without those 6 beers? You see what I'm saying? So it's kind of an issue there. So I did lose probably about 10 or 15 pounds with that, but it kind of fluctuated up and down. And like I said, it works okay if a person is constantly cooking their own food and everything, is better in that instance. However, if you're a person that relies on eating out a lot, it kind of can you know, get messy there. So that didn't seem to be working as well as I would like to have been. So I went to my doctor, and my doctor prescribed an appetite suppressant called Adipex that was supposed to give me energy. Now, I took Adipex when I was in my 20s, and it worked okay. I had, you know, quite a bit of success with it. You pop an Adipex in the morning, and you basically nibble, you know, not us all day. I mean, not lettuce, but you know what I'm saying. You just don't really feel like eating. And, yeah, you have to drink plenty of water with it, which I did. And, you know, when I was in my 20s, it worked well. When I'm in my 30s now, at that time, I was in my early 30s, approaching my mid 30s, but it's like it did not work well. As a matter of fact, it made me very nauseous and sick on the stomach all the time. And it seemed like it also made me very, very sleepy. Like, I just could not wake up when I would take it. On the days that I would not take it, and I tried it, on the days I would not take it, I was fine. When I took it, I felt like I was just going to pass out asleep at any moment. I only tried that for a couple of weeks, and then I finally told my doctor, you know what, I can't do it. I'm done with it, and I stopped taking it. The next thing I tried was a medically supervised weight loss program that was held at a local clinic through the Henry Ford Hospital. And it worked very well. They used the HMR diet system, which I think is the same thing that Nutrisystem uses, where they have the prepackaged food and you buy everything from them. So there's meal replacement powder that you use. There's prepackaged food that doesn't even have to be refrigerated. It can stay on the shelf. So like if you stock them at work or wherever, all you have to do is take them, pop them in the microwave for like 90 seconds, and they're fine. They're done. That worked really well. They do keep you on a very low calorie count. I think I was on maybe a 900, maybe 1,000 calories a day. And so I did lose about 20 pounds on that relatively quickly. But it's expensive. It was like, for a normal person, it was like $90 a week for a week's supply. And for a special person, because I'm a very special one person who has lactose intolerance and gluten intolerance, and so I had to have the special food that was lactose gluten free, and that cost me $135 a week. Now that $135 a week did not include the food that I had to buy for my son for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So you can see where that was a huge problem. Plus the fact that I kind of feel like eating is social. And for me and my son, sitting down at the dinner table and eating together was a huge thing. And when I would sit down with this, you know, little entree that they gave me versus what he was eating, he always noticed a difference in it. And at that time, he was much younger than he is now. And so he couldn't quite understand, you know, get the concept of that. So that just didn't seem like a very good situation for me. Financially, it just was ruining me. And then, like I said, the whole social piece with my son was a little bit awkward there. Lastly, I decided to check out clean eating. And I was invited to a clean eating group on Facebook by someone who is a, what is the name of that product they do? They have the Shakeology. I can't remember. But anyways, whoever does the Shakeology, Beachbody coach. And she was amazing. Let me tell you, this woman, she runs, even to this day, she runs clean eating groups, and I'm always a part of them because I love them. The recipes are great. Her energy is just great. I mean, you can talk to her, you can tell her anything. She's just an amazing person. So the clean eating actually did work. For those who don't know what clean eating is, I implore you, please look it up. It is very simple and it is amazing. Basically, clean eating is you go away from processed foods and from fast foods. You cook everything at home pretty much. I'm like 95% of the time. You cook at home, you prep your meals, you take your breakfast, you take your lunch, you eat dinner at home, and it is just phenomenal. There's fresh fruits and fresh vegetables. There's so much that you can do, so much you can eat with that, and you're healthy, you're satisfied, you feel energetic. I mean, I just felt so many different things when I did the clean eating, and to this day, I still stick with clean eating, and it did work. It helped to get the scale moving in the right direction for me. So that being said, you're probably wondering why I didn't just stick with clean eating and exercising, because I do exercise. I go to the gym. And at one time I was working with a trainer as well. Why don't I just stick with clean eating? Well, the reason is because on clean eating, I have only been able to lose maybe about 20 to 30 pounds. And granted, I've kept it off, but in 2 years, that's about where I've been at. And it is a nightmare. It is a frustration, and it is not acceptable for me. I'm getting closer to 40, and there's a lot of health problems that run in my family. Heart problems, diabetes, cholesterol problems, arthritis, degenerative joint diseases, and a whole list of things. I am fortunate enough to be 37 years old and not on heart medication, not on any cholesterol medication, not on blood pressure medication. And while for most that seems normal, for my family it's not. By the time my family was my age, they were on multiple medications for multiple issues. I don't want to get there. I have an 11-year-old, almost 12-year-old son that I want to be able to go and do things with. I can't even take him on the bumper boats at the local outdoor little amusement park or anything because I weigh too much. He and I were sitting down and we were looking over the excursions for the cruise that we're taking next year. And the zip lining in Jamaica, or the rafting in the Cayman Islands, and all these different things that they have, and I weigh way too much to do it. So I'm looking to have a better quality of life for myself, for my son, and to be healthier overall so that I can get the best that I can right now while I'm still young and can enjoy it. Let me address a couple of things about bariatric surgery. Number one, bariatric surgery is not the easy way out. And in the coming days, I will explain to you why I truly say that and believe it. Bariatric surgery is not the lazy person's way out. Bariatric surgery is not a magic surgery. What bariatric surgery is expensive. It is invasive. It is going to take a lot of dedication in order for it to be successful because it is merely a tool. It is not the easy way out. Having to change your whole lifestyle, having to undergo operation, having to come out of money for, co-pays and things like that. I have to pay $1,000 to get my surgery done, which is cheap compared to some people who have to pay for the whole procedure. I started researching this heavy about 2 years ago when I first started on my journey for losing weight. And I have, I did a lot of research. I talked to a lot of people that had the procedure. And after I tried the other means of losing weight and was unsuccessful, then I decided to ask my doctor to write me for a referral for the weight loss surgery. That I got the approval from my insurance back in May of 2016. So let's see, it's May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, January, February. So we're going on 9 months now since I've gotten the approval. The process I had to go through is I had to have my doctor send in a prior authorization, which had my insurance did approve it. They called me and told me they approved it. And I remember when the lady called and she says, "Hey, I just wanted to let you know that we did approve you for either gastric sleeve or the gastric bypass, whichever one you want." And I said, "Oh, great, so you do agree that I'm fat?" And she kind of laughed, but it was just a joke, but yeah. So I got the approval done with Henry Ford, who is where I'm going to get my surgery with Dr. Janot. They require that you first go through a 6-hour seminar. And this seminar explains everything. It explains what they expect of you, what you can expect. And they talk about the different appointments you're going to have, the whole process and procedure, and blah, blah, blah. You get your patient coordinator, who is the person that's your go-to person, sets up all your appointments, keeps in touch with you, fills out your paperwork, all of that stuff. So I did that. And then after that, I had to meet with the surgeon. When I met with him, we talked about my goals. We talked about what he expected. I was expected to lose 10 pounds before they could schedule me for the surgery. While I worked on that, I had other appointments I had to take care of. I had to go see a nutritionist. I had to go to an exercise physiologist, which I had no idea there was a such thing. With the exercise physiologist, we went there, we worked out on a treadmill, and they assessed us as far as, you know, if we're able to do exercise or not. Giving us suggestions, and then we talked to the nutritionist and dietitian. I also had to go through a psychiatric evaluation. And I worked very closely with a nutritionist. At most of the appointments, there was a copay. My copay is only $15, which I'm very fortunate for, because some people have more of a copay, but I had to go through copays. When I saw the surgeon for a follow-up, I had not lost the 10 pounds. It was the hardest thing, I'm telling you. And I had to keep a journal of everything that I was eating, and I used my Fitness Pal. And so the nutritionist, she looks at everything, dietitian, whatever you call her. She looks at everything. She tells you what to tweak, what to put in, what to take out. I will say that using Premier Protein chocolate and vanilla shakes have been a lifesaver for me when it comes to getting in protein and when it comes to having a healthier alternative for breakfast, if you don't mind drinking your breakfast. So yeah, I've had to go through so many appointments, poked and prodded, weighed, and all of this other stuff. So it has been a very long and exhausting journey. Now, coming up, starting tomorrow, I have an all-liquid diet. And I'm supposed to get 60 to 80 grams of protein in at least, which is about 3 protein shakes per day. Plus, we're allowed to have broth, sugar-free Jello, sugar-free popsicles, of course, water, Crystal Light, Propel, things like that. Protein water is definitely allowed, which I don't particularly care for protein water. It's kind of nasty. If I drink it extremely cold and like kind of guzzle it down, it's great. Thing about it is that after surgery, I won't be able to guzzle things down, so this should be really interesting. I will say that I have a great support system, yeah, so it's a journey that I'm on, and I want to document this with you. I'm not ready to show you my full body yet. I will be in a little bit, because I will definitely make sure that I put up, you know, show pre-op versus post-op and everything. Tonight, I'm going to take my official measurements as far as my, you know, hips, arms, legs, waist, all of that stuff is concerned. And then tomorrow I'll start my liquid diet. So this should be interesting. I will update you tomorrow about how the liquid diet day 1 went. And wow, I'm sorry, we had some technical difficulty. My little hookup failed. Isn't that beautiful? So yeah, so I'll update you tomorrow and everything, and we'll go from there. So I'm looking forward to taking you with me on this journey. And if you have any questions, please feel free to post them in the comments below, and I will try to answer them to the best of my ability. Yeah, so I'm going to end it here. You guys have a great evening.